How's it going, everyone? So what you're about to see is my man Johnny right here ripping around on this Harley. All right, everybody, so Johnny here is a certified coach at Champ School, so he really understands the curriculum, and he's an incredible rider on any bike. He even does, what did you do, a 151 at Chuckwalla with the stock R6?
Basically, it had rear sets.
It has rear sets,
Yeah.
so unbelievably fast,
Yeah.
like super high level rider. So
Yeah.
what I want to do, so I was following him for a couple of times when I could see him behind me I'm on the GS, he's on the Harley, and you're gonna get to see what really good techniques look like on this big old Harley. Now he got it, the owner, it's not even his bike, the owner's got a couple things done to the bike. He's got better suspension and a new
Triple clamp,
all kinds of random crap done. But
shocks.
the main thing I want for this video is, so you guys will watch, you can watch the video a bunch of times of him riding. You can watch the brake light when it goes on, more importantly when it goes off. See where the slowest point is, how he takes away lean angle to get on the throttle, his moving his body, when he moves his body, all kinds of stuff. But what I really wanted to do, since I was following you, is have you explain to everybody, first, what's it like riding a bike at the pace you're riding, which is quick, on a bike that's not yours. Second, a bike that's not yours and it's a Harley. Now, what would be different between a stock Harley like this, softer suspension or whatever, versus this one? And does it matter what bike you're riding? What techniques are you using, applying, and how is it different versus this versus your like Tuono?
Okay.
So that's the main idea, what I want you guys to take away.
Yeah, the big thing with a Tuono, right, is it can lean way farther than I can on a Harley.
So much more ground clearance.
Way more ground clearance, right? So you have to be a little more like cognizant on, well, if you're leaning really far, you don't have a lot of brakes available or throttle available, right? When you're fully leaned over. The Cruiser, I mean, it doesn't lean very far, so you have a lot of brakes available while you're leaned over. Even though you are maybe scraping pegs or leaning pretty far, you're not near the max of what that tire can really lean. So you could really get on the brakes on a Cruiser. So I put more emphasis on the braking before the turns.
Yep.
And I just know that lean angle is not going to really tighten my line on a Cruiser, right? So the max lean angle, I'm going to catch it pretty quick. So the only way I can really adjust my radius is to adjust my speed on a Cruiser, more so. So I have to really rely on applying the brakes, getting the speed set for the turn. But then I run out of ground clearance if I brake too much while in the corner, right? Because if I bury the brakes too much, then I'm dragging. So I really want to get my speed set somewhere mid-corner and then start to release brakes, and I actually want to go to maintenance throttle. So you can go to like maintenance throttle, then the bike gets into that sweet spot on the suspension, and I gain just a little bit of ground clearance.
Yeah, so you're not...
Yeah, and then I'm not crushing my floorboards or my pegs. And then I just kind of wait. And then it becomes a maintenance throttle, just wait until I can see my exit, and I can start to take away lean angle. Then I'll start to really turn on the throttle at that point.
Yeah. And a couple times you guys will see when you're about to watch the clip. So we're going up a couple different roads, Banner Grade, and I followed you up Sunrise or whatever the road was. But you can really see. So explain to me this. So explain to everybody, when you're coming out of the corner, you could just roll on the throttle and not do nothing with your body. So what is the purpose of doing this? Does it have anything to do with how hard you're accelerating?
Right. So I'm just trying to get the bike to stand up. And then so if I add more throttle and try to add more lean angle, right, I can't really accelerate.
Yeah.
Right. So if I can start to stand the bike up and drop my body, that means I could really start to roll on the throttle.
It's because you're getting on it hard.
Yeah.
So if you don't get on it hard, if you just want to roll on slowly, do you have to do that?
No, you don't.
Yeah. It's
no.
just, so the aggressiveness you want to get on the throttle should correlate to
picking up lean angle. Just it's like 1-to-1 swap.
So when you guys watch him coming out of the corner, like we're going up Banner, he's like going like this. Like really, that means he's super aggressive up and out of there on the throttle. And a couple of times you guys are going to see with him, the rear end's going like this. So what's going on with that? Does this have a quick shifter? Does it have, what's going on?
No auto blip, no quick shift. I'm doing everything manually. And with the geometry, the way it's set up, it's a little bit on the loose side.
Okay.
So if I don't downshift just right, it does wiggle a little bit. So could I trail the clutch a little better? Sure. But sometimes I want it to wiggle personally.
Okay.
Because then where's the limit? There it is, right? I know where the limit is because I can get to it and not blow past it.
Right.
Right.
So explain, so say you're going fourth gear and you're coming to a corner, you're going down to second. What do you do? What is the process to get into that corner? Downshifting twice.
So the big thing is I'm definitely going to cut out any dead time. So when I roll off the throttle to the brake, it's immediately roll off to the throttle, immediately turn on the brake.
Yep.
Right? There's no coasting involved. Then once I'm on the brakes, then I'm knocking in my downshifts, downshift. And the big thing is I'm going to carry the brakes past the tip in point.
Yeah.
And as I start to tip in, then I start to trail out.
Which just means release the brake as you lean.
Exactly.
Right? Trail braking.
Yeah, and I really want to focus on keeping the brakes and the front end loaded as I tip in to the turn until I'm happy with my speed, my direction. I can tell like my lean angle, my speed is matching this road, the lines on the ground. So now at that point, I've got everything set. Now let's fully release the brake and go right to maintenance throttle. And then I just wait. I just chill. I stay in that position, and I wait till I can, again, see the exit, take away lean angle, and stand the bike up and come on out. A big thing, too, is my timing on the body. If you notice, never do I, like, brake and then really throw my body in the turn. I could, right? But that would mean my turn would also happen fast.
Right.
But I want everything, trail braking, body position, it happens in a slow, linear movement. And then that way it just kind of carries. My body's being smooth in the corner entry. My brakes will be smooth on corner entry.
Because going into it, you're pretty much upright because the brakes are the priority.
Yep.
And you just slowly get your body off to the inside as you approach mid-turn.
Exactly.
Like you're not going onto the brakes like this.
No, definitely
Nobody
not.
is.
Definitely
Like that's
not.
one big
no
thing.
No one good does that, yeah.
Yeah, watch any racer on any class. Nobody brakes super hard while they're off the bike. So you're upright, brake, and then as you start to tip in, you start to release, and then your body kind of naturally like sinks into it, right?
Exactly, and I'm just trying to stay relaxed and just let the bike. This bike's kind of loose, so it's wiggling down underneath me, and just chill, just relax, wait. Yeah.
So let's say like Winola or one of the roads. Let's say you're going to the corner, the speed and radius you thought it was, but let's say it tightens up, and you did not know that.
Right.
So, and let's say you're already off the brake. So what would you do?
That actually did happen today.
Perfect.
Right?
So
I just made a mistake, right? I did make a mistake. I misjudged the corner, and I was off the brake. I was on the throttle. And I was like, oh, it tightens up. It was an immediate roll off to the brake, and I picked up some brakes.
Hold on a second. So you're telling me you could brake mid-turn and not just crash?
Correct.
Because you're not doing what?
And not grabbing that front brake, right? Yeah. And it's that habit, right? It's a constant champion habit of rolling off to the brake. So when I was in that corner, it's not like I was committed to 4 fingers on the throttle. I was ready in case I needed it, in case there was a pine cone around this
deer,
point.
rocks, all kinds of crappy stuff.
And there it was. The turn corner, turn did tighten up. I'm like, oops. And it was just a roll off to the brake, pick up some brakes. Radius equals mile an hour. My mile an hour came down, and the bike just tightened its line.
Bike tightens up.
Yep.
So why do people say if you slow down and get on the brakes, the bike's gonna stand up and go wide?
Because typically they're gonna grab. Anytime you grab a brake, then if I grabbed it, it would have. Because
it would have went like this.
Yep. Yeah, it would have just blown through the stroke of the fork, and it would have wanted to stand up, right? Just physical forces want to kind of stand the bike up.
Yes.
And then a lot of times when that happens, what are you looking at? Oh gosh, a double yellow. Oh gosh, oncoming truck. Oh gosh, this guardrail. You sacrifice your vision at that point. You're running over that double yellow. You've already committed to failing. So I just carried on looking through and just carried some speed. I could see radius is good. Didn't cross the double yellow or anything. And I was fine.
That's the big takeaway I want everybody to understand. So many people say, if you touch the brakes at all, the bike's gonna go wide. Like, no. If you grab the brakes, the only issue is grabbing the brakes. Now, so as long as you're, like I always say, orange, squeeze the orange, unsqueeze the orange, it'll be good pretty much anywhere. You could be in the middle of the turn, not touching nothing, steady throttle, neutral.
Yeah.
You could reach up, roll off, get on the brakes, get back off the brake, get on the gas. You could do this back and forth in the middle of a turn.
Definitely.
As long as you don't grab. Don't do anything abrupt.
There's some long sweepers here on Palomar where you go in there and I'll accelerate and I'll start to run wide, then I'll roll off, pick up a little bit of points of brake, and then roll back on the throttle. And the whole time I'm just adjusting my speed mid-corner.
What a fantastic drill to practice on big sweepers.
Yeah.
Play around with that, right?
Yeah.
Now, everybody always asks me this, so I'll ask you, so straight from the horse's mouth. Did you touch the rear brake at all? And if so, when and why did you do it?
Every single corner, I was using my rear brake, especially on a Harley.
Okay.
Because there's so much weight on that rear tire. I need as much help as I can get on this big beast to slow the thing down. So the rear brake is really effective on this bike. On a sport bike, I would still use it, but definitely not to the degree I do on a Harley.
So you're coming up, let's do the same corner before, since we talked about, you're in 4th gear, you're coming up, you have to downshift twice. We're going, let's say we're going 80, we're slowing down to 50.
Yeah.
And you're in 2nd gear going 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
When do you use the rear brake? Why, when, how, what's the relationship between front and rear?
That's a really good question, Greg. I use my rear brake just slightly before I touch my front brake.
Okay.
Right? So if I can use my rear brake before I use my front, what am I doing? I'm adjusting the center of gravity of the bike.
Okay.
The rear of the bike will squat the entire motorcycle. The rear brake, will squat the entire motorcycle.
Yep.
And then I use the front.
So it's less of a dive.
So it's less of a front end dive.
Okay.
So then I'm not blowing through the travel. Plus, when you're not on the front brake, you have more weight over that rear tire. It's effective, it's very effective in the beginning of the brake zone. As you add that front brake in, the rear gets lighter.
Yep.
You actually will come out of the rear brake.
Yes.
Slightly.
So you started with the rear,
Yep.
add a little bit of pressure, then you went to the front, and as you went with the front, you came off the rear.
Correct.
All while doing this and downshifting.
And downshifting.
That's why it's four extremities doing different things at the same time. And
A lot, yeah.
everybody really keep this in mind. I'm going to pop up on the screen right now, the pace scale. So parking lot speed, really easy street pace, a little bit quicker street pace, and then maybe a little bit of trail braking, then by. So at the pace scale, what we were doing is pretty good. We're not going crazy. We're not doing like track riding, but we're going at a pretty good pace. So you have to always keep this in mind. Everything he's saying with all these brakes, because obviously, if I said let's all ride one-handed, how much would the pace have to drop to ride through these corners one-handed?
Oh, big time. Yeah,
And we probably wouldn't be trail
right?
braking.
I lose one hand, I'm at 50% steering. I'm gonna drop my pace probably 50%.
Now let's say if I say no brakes,
Then it's like 10%.
you'd be going so.
Yeah, I'd be
Everything
very
depends
slow.
on
I'd
the
be
pace.
scared.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty afraid.
So when people say I've been riding 20 years, I never trail brake, that might be okay at the pace you're riding, but if the pace picks up, you have to do things different, right? You have to understand. That's why a faster rider can always slow down and do the slower pace. A slower rider, with the skills they have, they can't just decide, I'm just gonna go faster, because they don't have the techniques. Look at everything he just explained. That's for at the pace he's going on this big old bike, was not even his. So I want you guys really understand the pace determines what you need to do.
Yeah.
Let's go down the mountain, no brakes, one-handed. Dude, we'd be going 10 miles per hour less than the speed limit everywhere. It would be dropped.
Great
right?
example you bring it up. On my way down Banner, I overheated my front brake. You know,
So,
and I could tell I had half the amount of brake pressure.
So what does that mean? What does brake? You know, the lines, the fluid, is it rubber lines?
These
in case people don't know.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I was braking so much my front brake as well as my rear, but my front was just so overheated that any little pockets of air inside that brake line, the moisture inside the brake fluid is hydroscopic, so there's moisture in the brake lines. It gets to a boiling point. So essentially, my brake fluid is at boiling point, and it's becoming air inside my lines.
So it's just you start to squeeze and not much happens.
It starts to get really spongy.
Talk about scary.
Yeah, so I was like, oh shoot, if I continue on this same pace with these spongy brakes, they're only gonna heat up even more, and I'm gonna go into a corner with no front brake. I'll squeeze it, but there will be nothing there. So I don't want that to happen. So I immediately backed my pace down and became a rear brake and just covered my front just in case, and I just rear brake only going down the mountain, down Banner. And just in case, for some reason, I misjudged it, I'm on the control in case I need to save myself from running water.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. So
yeah.
re-listen to everything you just said, really think about it, and then now watch the footage of me following him with that stuff in mind. So best case scenario, this is what I recommend you do. Open up your browser on your computer, watch the same video twice. Watch him now riding, and then have the other one open, listen, so turn down the volume of this, listen to him talking, and then watch him riding. And you get to see the timing, body, line, brake light go on, brake light go off, hear the throttle. You can see when he's getting on the throttle with it. So it's going to be a fantastic example of really high level technique from a really high level rider on not even a bike that's his.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go, Vaughn.
Works on any bike. Just the right technique, you can ride any bike.
Any bike. So Champs Gold, Kyle Wyman, one of my favorite guys, like he's riding the baggers and he jumps on the super bike and he jumps on this. It don't matter. Don't matter.
Yep.
There you go.